Indeed, we are your election headquarters. The vetting committee of the New Patriotic Party has described the party's vetting process of parliamentary aspirants in the constituencies with sitting MPs as free and fair, despite isolated cases of chaos in some parts of the country. 11 persons, as we know, have been disqualified from the New Patriotic Party's parliamentary primaries set to take place later this month. Disgruntled aspirants have less than 10 hours to file an appeal, and Samuel Mbura is watching all of the drama unfold and is joining us in studio now. It's not a good time to be a disqualified aspirant now.
Exactly, Blessed. Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us why the party is taking this decision.
Well, we know very well that going into any contest, definitely the vetting is the
most significant aspect, because you need to cross it.
Yeah, that's where they have to scrutinize your document, authenticate whether you are really a member of the NPP. They will look at whether you are of good standing. Right. They will check your records, financial status, and all that. So all these aspirants had to go through this vigorous process across the country, and this exercise was actually conducted in 137 of the constituencies that they have the sitting MPs going into this election. So
how come that we still have some disqualified? I guess that's the question on the minds of people. Was it generally, and you look at the case there, 3 to 6, right? Okay, so let me just run you through. Exactly the figures that we're seeing. About 400 of them picked the forms generally to contest the elections. Yes. So out of the 400, and we need to put this in context. 137. So I'll just give it a breakdown. So more than 100%. Exactly. So 400 of these aspirants picked the forms to contest the elections, and then out of the 400, 373 actually returned their nomination form. So when you pick the form, you're supposed to go and file. So 400 picked, 373 returned their forms. And out of the 373, that's where we have the summary of the breakdown after the vetting that concluded on Friday. So the disqualified aspirants are 11 of them, qualified are 326. We have 2 cases have been referred to the National Executive Committee for further action. 2 have actually voluntarily stepped down not to contest the elections. Unopposed are 29. One person brought a form that was incomplete, so automatically have been disqualified. And then no appearance at all is, there were 2 of them. So that brings us to a total of 373. So these 373 are now going into the election. You know, the publishing of the notice of polls will be coming shortly. But that will be after the vetting committee presents its report to the National Executive Committee after the 10 hours window that they have now. So what exactly are they expected to do within this 10-hour period? So this 10-hour period, if you are a disqualified aspirant and you have some grievances, even if you're a party member who has an interest in the ongoing elections, what you need to do is to petition the appeals committee of the party. Then they can. This is supposed to be at the national level? Yes, so they have it at the national level that you can file your complaints for them to look into it. So if you say Blizzard is contesting, why is he not competent? Yeah, which I'm not doing, by the way. Just let's set the records right. Mbura is contesting. Yes, Mbura, exactly. Yes, so maybe. We just maybe. It's all possible. Exactly, because right now, you know, this election is very critical. At the time that the NPP says we want to break the 8, which is historic, they need to send people who can actually win those vote for them, and taking into consideration that these are seats that are more than less safe seats for the NPP. So you need people who are really competent to go and then represent the party after passing through. We need to point out that this is a significant number that's been passed, over a 90% pass in terms of the number of individuals going into the contest itself. I guess it's a signal to say the party does not want to risk division, acrimony, or perhaps any sort of complaints at the grassroots. Yes, you know, there were isolated cases. Example, Bimbila, we had issues in other constituencies as well. Their concerns were that there were Machiavellian tactics to remove them through rough tactics, and then that was even the defense minister's constituency. But these issues were resolved and all that. So they are treading cautiously so that they wouldn't create any acrimony within the party getting into the 2024 general election. We know very well that this is actually the last leg or the last stage of the reorganization process of the NPP towards the 2024 election, because they have their what they call it, the flag bearer that has been elected. They have aspirants in the non-traditional seats. Exactly. So after the Orphans constituency that they actually conducted this election. So what they are now going to do is that they have to intensify their gains ahead of the 2024 election. I mean, waiting for the running mate to be announced by the party, who is being led by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia now.
But talk about the party and its roadmap to reorganization. We know that this will be happening on the 27th?
Exactly.
What's the mode of approach in terms of the organization of this very election? Because they adopted, a very unique spot for the primaries, both for the presidential slot. Yeah. They did, quite a unique approach for the orphan constituencies.
Exactly.
Now we're dealing with places where they have seats. So what's going to be the approach towards the organization?
They are using the decentralized mode of electing them. Right. We know that in the flag bearer election, that was the same thing, even though people had their concerns, but that's the situation that is going to happen with this particular upcoming election. So the guidelines stand. All those guidelines that were used for the orphan constituency election, the presidential election, is what they are going to use. If nothing actually changes, that's what they are going to stand on based on the party's constitution to conduct this particular exercise. Like I said, after the election of the parliamentary aspirants on the 27th of January, in which we'll be giving you, back-to-back coverage from all the constituencies, that is where they will now go into full force into the main elections after a running mate has been announced.
All right then, Shiva Samimbura here, and of course, he's not, just to clear the air, he's not running for office, by the way. Thanks, Sami, for joining us. What's next for the party? Here's Director of Research and Election for the New Patriotic Party, Evans Nimako, with details of what's likely to happen.
Largely, the party is happy with the conduct of this vetting committee. You may have heard a lot of issues coming up, but so far, I must say that the exercise has been very fruitful. We are expecting the General Secretary to receive the report from the committee and submit to the National Executive Committee. National Executive Committee, which is clothed with the power to review or accept the report of the vetting committee, will then give out the list of those who have been successful after the vetting. That will mean that those who are successful will go through, conduct their campaign, and get the constituency delegate conference to vote on 27th.
Is there any opportunity for any of the disqualified aspirants to file for appeal?
Yes, so the party has put together a separate committee, which is the appeals committee, to receive petitions from people who may have been disqualified or not recommended to the party to be in this contest. So there's opportunity for people to access this platform. And today is the last day for submission. After vetting, if there are petitions to be considered by the appeals committee, that will be done. The committee is expected to give its report to the General Secretary for honor submission to the National Executive Committee by Monday. And both reports of this committee, appeals, and that of the vetting committee will be considered by the National Executive Committee.
We head now to the Ashanti region, where the regional chairperson of the party, Bernard Enchiboziako, has implored party delegates to demand massive improvement in votes for the party as a way of negotiating with incumbent MPs seeking re-elections. According to Chairman Wontumi, the party has no intention to disqualify aspirants seeking to become MPs, but it takes critical interest in the incumbent MPs underperforming at the polls. Nana Bwachi Adam now reports.
The New Patriotic Party, proud to the January 27 parliamentary primaries, vetted and cleared over 120 aspirants. The process seeks to determine the eligibility of candidates who intend to represent the party in the 2024 general election. Speaking to the press after the process, the Ashanti Regional Chairman of the NPP, Bernard Enchiboziako, entreated party delegates to negotiate with incumbent MPs seeking re-election for better performance.
My point, and what I've always given pieces of advice, is that those who, had a lesser votes from 2020 elections, that is where my advice goes to, that if you know that 2020 your votes reduce, You can think about, because it's NPP, we want to win power. It's not friendship. It's not this is my brother. It's not brotherhood. You know, it's about getting the structure. Fortunately for us, NDC had choose their candidates. So I'm appealing to constituency executives, coordinators, and the polling stations. Nobody is going to influence them. They should choose what they want, and anybody who want to go to or who want to win, the polling station people should decide and also take a responsibility. You have to decide and take a responsibility.
Chairman Wontumi says the party has no intention to disqualify aspirants. However, it intends to win the December 7th election without favor.
Me, I went to election, so I want everybody to go to election. Dr. Bawumia, who is the leader of our party, went to the election. So everybody also have to go to election. So nobody is going to disqualify anybody, but we will negotiate all the time with the constituency. You can negotiate with them. But the region and national, I don't think we will do that.
Is the NPP breaking the eight?
Of course. I have already seen that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the next president of Republic of Ghana.
For Joy News, Nana Boachi Dankwa Yadom, Kumasi.